Exams are the hardest part of any student's life, and they are inevitable. They keep coming around every now and then, and we cannot avoid them as a student. But the best thing that we can do in this situation is to find ways to make exams easier on us. Because whenever these exams come around, every student just gets very tired, and every student faces a lot of work, and they're pulling in all-nighters, they're staying up late, they're working really hard, and still they are not getting a lot of great results in their exams many times. It's very disappointing as a student that you put in so much effort, yet you get so little results. One of the best things that you can do as a student is to find ways for yourself in which you can achieve better results in your exams. And today I'm going to share with you my favorite tips for nailing exams. Unlike many tips on the internet, these tips have three major benefits. Number one, these are generic, which means that they can be applied to any form of subject or any specific subject. Number two, they are very efficient because they do not require a lot of effort, give you a lot of benefits even beyond your academic situation. So the first tip is to connect the dots. And when I say connect the dots, I mean have an understanding of whatever you are studying. So by connecting these dots, by having an understanding of whatever you are studying, you can have a simple story in your brain which you can explain to any other person, and you can write it in your exam. And especially in higher education and high school education, where a lot of the information that you take in is conceptual rather than factual, you will definitely benefit from this because knowledge often builds upon other knowledge. So if you have your base and underlying concepts in a good condition, you will also be able to understand the subsequent concepts in a better way. Tip number two is to know technical terms. Now, whatever subject you're studying, you will be having certain technical terms involved in that subject. So for instance, mathematics has some technical terms like fraction and pi. These are technical terms that a person who has not studied mathematics will not understand. And when you advance to higher levels, there are things like the sandwich theorem. And again, these are things which, if you haven't studied mathematics, you will not be able to comprehend what these mean. But if you are studying mathematics, or for that matter, any particular subject, if knowing these technical terms can help you a lot. If you use these technical terms in your exam and in your conversation, you will sound not only more knowledgeable, but also more professional. And that is a huge benefit because it not only lifts you up in your academic space, but it also helps you in your professional career. And when you go and get a job or do some business with other people, your professionalism will show, and that is a huge benefit. A lot of these terms originate from literature related to your subject. So if you're reading, let's say, a textbook or a research paper, that is where these technical terms are usually born. Tip number three is to learn methods. Now, all subjects include some form of methods, but this is especially true for mathematical subjects or subjects which involve certain mathematical parts. And because we live in a world driven by data, a lot of this data is derived from calculations which are effectively a certain method. And in an academic setting, you could say that if there is a certain mathematical problem, you need to solve it using a particular method. And you cannot solve it until you know that method. And that is why knowing the method is very important. So you need to identify methods in your subjects. You need to break these methods down into steps or a series of steps. You need to define if there are any conditions at particular steps and what are the appropriate actions to be taken when certain conditions are met. And also, it helps to know when to stop a calculation. Tip number four is to read textbooks. Textbooks, as I like to define them, are comprehensive end-to-end documents written by highly experienced professionals in a well-organized fashion. These textbooks take you step by step from beginner level to intermediate then to advanced. Textbooks present a lot of information which is supported with examples, and you have a lot of explanations as well. And the best part is that most textbooks contain exercise sections, and these exercise sections and questions can help you get a better understanding of whatever you are trying to study. Another crucial thing regarding textbooks is that many times Instructors and professors cannot cover everything in your lecture. So if they missed something, chances are that is in the textbook. And if you have been assigned these readings, then you should do them, because there might be certain questions from the textbook. So having read the textbook, you would be able to answer those questions. But for someone who hasn't read the textbook, they will not know what to write at that kind of a situation. And finally, tip number 5 is to stay relaxed and enjoy the process. And this is by far the most important thing, because if you are not enjoying the student life, then there is no point in being a student and living the student life. And enjoyment doesn't necessarily refer to leaving your class and hanging out with friends and all that bad stuff, as we could say it. Life can be enjoyed in a very subtle manner as well. You can enjoy simply going to class. You can enjoy sitting in the front row. You can enjoy the process of asking questions and getting an understanding of certain topics. And that is the kind of enjoyment that I'm referring to. But the key idea over here is that all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So go out and do something meaningful, do something for yourself, find hobbies, play some video games, play outside. And only when you apply this tip is when the other tips start to work. So please go out and enjoy being a student. Alright, so wrapping up, I showed you 5 tips that I use to nail my exams. These tips include: number 1, connect the dots; number 2, know the technical terms; number 3, learn methods; number 4, read textbooks; and number 5, enjoy and romanticize the process of being a student. By applying these tips, you can expect better results from your exams. Now, I don't always end up nailing every single exam. It's okay if you make a mistake. To err is human, but we still need to make an effort. We cannot just sit still and expect the nature to do our portion of work. That's not how the world works. We need to make an effort. We need to do something on our own. And that is where these tips come in. What you need to do is you need to make an effort after you make a mistake. You need to make an effort to correct that mistake, and you need to make an effort to possibly reverse the effects of that mistake that you made. And that's it. It's the end of the video. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.